This is Blender. Let's make a plant. I'm going to click General. I'm going to go ahead and hide the light and the camera. Won't need those quite yet. And this first object, all I want to do is goodbye. So let's go ahead now and add a mesh of a circle. There we are. And I'm going to increase the Y scale by 2 actually. There we go. And let's go into edit mode. I'm going to click on Z and zoom in. Alright, so I want to make sure to have proportional editing on, and I'm going to click this top vertex and use the move tool and drag this up. Something like this. Let me see where I'm at here. Yeah, maybe a 0.65, and then for proportion size, instead of 1, maybe a 1.2, something of this nature, okay? Now, I want to also, I'm going to turn this off just for a sec because I want to pull it out just a bit. So I'm pulling this front part out 0.05. That was a close call. Alright, and now for the back, I'm going to do something similar, but let's turn on proportional editing and just pull it out just a bit. I'm going to go more with like a 0.9 in the back and then a 0.2, negative 0.2. Should be good. So that's actually perfect. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to do a select all and face grid fill. Now I want a line straight down the middle of our leaf, so this isn't going to work. I think around 6, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost there, 5, and this will work perfectly. Let's go into edge select. Let me select an edge and go ahead and do select loops, edge loops, and we got straight down the middle here. The reason we want this is we want not a loop cut, but an offset edge loop cut. So you want to already have your edge selected like I do, and I'm going to click and pull. Well, there we are. You can see it just barely there. So, and I'm going to do, let's take a look at a 0.3. That is looking nicely. So awesome. I'm now going to go into vertex mode. Okay. And just make sure, yep, I got my vertices. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to actually, didn't do anything there, which is good because I don't need to. All right. I'm going to select my vertices here. And let's go into edge mode and then face and extrude faces. And I'm going to pull back. I'm going to hit Y just to make sure it stays along this Y axis. What you really want is a 0, a 1 is great, a negative 1 is great, and a 0. Okay, and I'm going to click off. Alright, this is looking wonderful. I am going to, still in edge mode, going to select these back 2 pieces, and I'm just going to decrease the size a bit just so it tapers. And then I wanted to turn this off, but that's fine. Proportion size 0. Actually, here, it will be better. I'm going to undo that action, and now I'm going to turn off proportional editing, and now I'm going to do it. Because I just want it to taper. A 0.8 will actually be sufficient. So let's take a look from above. This is looking really, really great. Let's go ahead and take a side view of this. So I'm going to use my selection tool and my vertex tool. Okay. I want to make sure that I select all of these. I'm going to hold down Shift and also select this front vertex. I'm going to click X and I'm going to do some proportional editing. Proportion. And what I'm going to be doing is grabbing these guys and pushing. Okay. But that wasn't enough. Let's try a 2.5. So we want the whole leaf to kind of curve. Is 3 too much? Yeah, probably. 2.4 maybe. We're going to do a 2.6. Yes, 2.6 is great. And then a negative 0.5 is looking good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let go of that point. Click on this point. And go ahead and push it down a bit more. Except this time, yeah, negative 0.12 is great. I'm going to do something more like a 1. Okay. That's looking excellent. We could even go lower. Negative 0.2. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. And let's just double check here how our leaf looks. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to click off there, go into edge mode, and now I want to make sure there's this divot right in the center of the leaf, because, well, that would make sense. I'm going to hold shift and grab all 3 of these points, and then what I will do with them is go ahead and just kind of push them down a bit, just to create a bit of a dip. Okay, and so I'm going to do a negative 0.1, and then this is a 1, maybe more of a 0.6. I want it to be more of an obvious divot, 0.5 even, 0.7. We got to fool around, and it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be what you like as well, so please do keep that in mind. All right, that is looking good to me. I'm going to be a perfectionist about this. 0.4 and then maybe negative 0.06. Alright, I'm going to leave it alone now. There, our leaf now has some character. So let's go ahead into object mode. Let's take a look at this. Yep, looking great. And so what I want now is I'm going to go ahead in object mode and apply the rotation and the scale of my item. I'm going to click on X here and then move. And I'm going to move it so that the back of the stem of our leaf is dead center here. Okay, so for me, oops, I had it actually. That's going to be probably a 3.15. Is that more exact? I liked it where I had it though. 3.16 and a 0.5. Okay, let me just zoom way in here. So I'm even a little bit over, so maybe it is a 3.15. Nope, 3.18. Okay, this will be just fine for our purposes. That's looking great. And so now into modifiers, I want 2 modifiers actually. The first one I'm going to use is a solidifier modifier. Boop. And then let me click off of this so you can kind of see. We're going to increase how thick our leaf is with a solidifier, and then we want subdivision surface just to kind of smooth out the surface of our leaf. Okay, now that's looking really great. All right, let's go ahead and apply the material to it. So I'm going to go into material properties, click new. I'm going to go ahead and name this leaf. What I'm going to be using is an image texture. It's an image that's on Wikimedia Commons. It's one I've taken actually, but it's free to use, public domain. I will try to link it in the description. So let me find it though. Down bin. And this one right here. Click. And let's turn on so we can see. So right now I haven't unwrapped this. I'm going to go ahead and click and go back into edit mode. And now I'm going to do a select all. Make sure, I'm going to be on face mode just in case. So I'm going to even do it again. Select all. Make sure you have selected all. UV, unwrap. And it's probably going to be way too close, right? Which is fine. Yeah. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. But I'm still going to take a look at UV editing here. Okay. And then let me zoom in. And I might want to make some small adjustments. It looks like I'm going to select all and just kind of shrink it down a bit because I want to be able to turn it. Okay. And let me see here. I shrunk mine down, I guess, to 0.98, 0.98, 0.98. And then I'm going to turn it slightly. Kind of get it more in line with this image. Okay. And so negative 3.5, I guess. There we are. Okay, now let me go back and look. Yeah, and I am liking this. Okay, and so I do want to darken it up a bit, so I'm going to use a subsurface color, maybe a 0.3 on here. Let me pick out my green, something like this, and a fairly dark one. See my hex on this. Yeah, that's great. 003303. I'm liking a lot. And it's up to you, though. I mean, if you want more of a darker color, feel free to increase or decrease things like this. And I might zero this out. Oh, that's way too much. 0.2. Well, now I'm regretting this. And then you can mess with this as well. Oh, wow, 6. 0.5. 0.6. Something like that. Right? And I'm going to go darker, I think, still. Let's double check with here, and then light. I want to see how the actual render will look. Okay, I'm going to switch this over to a sun, and we'll say 6 for now. Alright, so that is... Oh, yeah. I definitely wanted something more like this. And then... leaves do have a bit of a shine to them, so that's looking great now. So, with all of that ready to rock, we're going to go back to our modifiers, and I'm actually going to hide the texture and all of that because it's more taxing on a computer. I'm going to add a modifier and an array modifier. Once I do so, I want to make sure I'm still leaving these on, I'm just shrinking them so it's easier to work with. I want to make sure it's object offset. And what object is, well, I got to add it. Add empty. We're going to add an empty sphere. And here it is. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and name this control. Okay. And while I'm at it, let's name my leaf. Leaf. And so for my leaf, let's go back to the modifiers. Here's my array. And what offset do I want? I want the control offset. Alright. Let's make sure, I'm going to click on object set origin to 3D cursor, which is right there. Yep. And then I don't need a relative offset. I do need to figure out how many I want. Let's start with 25. Alright. And then I'm going to now click on the control. And I'm going to say for the location of Z, 1. And we have a bunch of leaves. Maybe I'll say 0.5. Okay, let me zoom out. And here's the neat part. Let's say, I don't know, boom. Or, it's kind of up to you the pattern you would like your leaves to be making. Alright, 125. And some look better than others. They kind of double up on each other eventually. I might get mine a bit closer, or not. Totally up to you, right? Maybe I do a leaf. I'm going to say 35, and then I'm going to go to my control now, and I'm going to make it more condensed. Right, let's pack them in here. Something like that. All right, so now we have this ready to go. Let's go ahead and make our stem. So I'm going to go add mesh, cylinder, and then 32 is fine. What we need though for this size, for Z, I'm going to say a 5. Oh, that's the location. We'll change that in a second. C, we'll say 5. Nope, we're going to say 15. It's way too big. 8, this is some guessing. And I'm going to do a 0.2 and a 0.2 here. Okay. And then we should move up to about a 4, I believe. Let's see how that's looking. That's looking good, pretty good. I could even maybe do a 7 here. And then this would be a 3.5. Or not. And you just want to make sure, well, all of the leaves are attached, of course. Yep, that's great. And on our stem here, it's not realistic if it's perfect. So I'm going to go into Object, Edit Mode. And what I'm going to do is go back to a regular loop cut and click. And then I'm going to say like 5 of these. Okay, you could do even a bit more. And I'm going to start to move them around. So to do that, I'm going to zoom in just a tiny bit, but just to make sure they're not perfect. So let me click that tiny little side, select loop, edge loop, and I'm going to push it this way. I'm going to turn off proportional editing, so let me do edit, undo, and turn that off. Because I want it to be a flaw, negative 0.04, right? Something like this. And then up here maybe, I'll click on this one, same thing, select loop, edge loop, and maybe here I'll just shrink it down some. Or bloat it out. You just don't want it to be perfect everywhere, anywhere. Okay, click off that. And zoom back. And then you can even turn them a little bit. You want to be more cautious with that. But to turn them, I'm going to go to X-ray, see-through, and again, just a bit like a 1 here. Okay, maybe a 2. You want to make sure the leaves still connect though. I'll click off. Now I'm going to do a select and a random, except I'm only going to do 10% for the random selection. It's still on face, right? It's still on face select. But what's fun about this, and it can lead to a good distortion, is like I'll just, for the selected, I'm going to say a 1.1 and a 1.05 and then a 0.97. And it really just starts to contort the shape. Okay? And that's exactly what you would want. All right, so you can do more or less, but I'm liking that mine as is at this point. I'm going to go ahead now and apply texture to this. I'm going to click here on my beach ball. Let's go back to textures. I'm going to say new. I'm going to say wood. And this is another image that I took myself. It's on Wikimedia Commons as Creative Commons 0. So I'll try to post it in the description. Let me go find my image here. Down bin, dirt, tree bark texture. Right? And I'm going to want to darken this one up a lot because of the type of tree it was. Oh, let's go ahead and edit mode. Right? And UV. Oh, select all, UV, smart UV. Okay. Alright, object mode. Now I'm going to click on this, and let's go ahead and do, for a subsurface, I'm going to say 0.4, and then for a color, except I want it really brown, so I'm going to start with 332211, and that is a brown color, and I'm going to darken that up, 0.6, and you can kind of just keep going here like I did before, with however dark you're wanting this wood structure to be. Right, and now I'm going to actually add I should just smooth it. Let's see. It does make it very pointy. Let's try smoothing it first. I am liking that. I'm going to change up my top a little bit right here. So what I'll do here is just kind of shrink it down. Okay. And then I'm also going to go to face, inset, maybe 0.3, and then I'm going to do face, poke, and now I'm going to zoom way in, just to kind of give this a smoother finish. I'm going to grab this point, no I'm not, and pull up, turn off that, pull up. And it might benefit me to add like another leaf or two, and thankfully I can. And that is looking great. Other things you can do, if you want to go ahead and apply this, right? I can now click on one, go into edit mode, mesh, separate by loose parts. Now I can go back into object mode. I have a bunch of leaves, okay? So if I wanted, right, I'm gonna now, let's hide this cylinder, hide the control, and then do select all again to get all of our leaves, go into edit mode. You can randomize the leaf shape somewhat, so select random. I would do random face. I'm gonna say, sure, 15, okay, face, select, random. And like I was doing before, I can change, I don't know, the shape. So maybe 1.05, 0.98, 1.02. Okay, and this is just going to kind of randomize the leaves just a bit. And if you're thinking that's too much, right, you can of course go less or more, but it's just going to be changing up to make them each a bit different. And then in object mode, I can do something similar. And I might grab this and say, I'm going to turn it a little bit this way, except to -0.5, right? And then I'm going to grab this and turn it a little bit this way, except to 2, and so on and so forth, till you're really liking how everything looks, how your plant is planted. Right, that's just a tiny bit, but you get the picture. All right, let's go ahead and render this. So here's my plant. Boom, and boom, and boom, and leaf. Let's grab my light though. I'm going to yank it up here. And then let me check. I'm going to go with a 7. Let's decrease our shadows. And that is looking pretty awesome. So what I'm going to want to do now is I'm going to actually make this transparent. Probably put it on Wikimedia Commons. And here we are. Film. Transparent. Let's see where our camera is. Yep, let's go ahead and adjust that. So view, sidebar, view, lock camera to view. I'm going to pull this on back. And you can kind of pick what side of your plant you think is handsome. And cool. Let's go ahead and render. And ta-da! We have a plant. I hope you made an awesome one too. It's really fun to use this in different scenes and use it with hair modifiers on flat planes. I might make a tutorial on that as well. If you're still watching, if you're kind of watching, which you are, you should make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. It gives me warm fuzzies and is kind. If you made something super cool, you should tell me about it below.